Hey guys, so this is bringing you another video. Now before the video begins, got a cool, exciting announcement to make on a brand new sponsorship here at HuzzyGames, and that is the Ridge wallet. So I've actually been using the Ridge wallet myself for over a month. I actually purchased this myself, used it for a week or two, and then reached out to them to see if they wanted to work together, and they said yes. So upon working together, they actually sent me another wallet. So I've got the two different carbon looks, but I'm going to stick with this one for now. But if you don't know what the Ridge wallet is, it's basically taking a typical old wallet design like that, kind of the typical, and putting it into this form factor. So the idea is you can get different designs that obviously have the different end plates. This is a carbon. You put your cards in the middle. It can hold, I believe, up to 12 cards, and it will basically expand as you add more. And you basically push your thumb up whenever you want to eject cards. You can get different attachments, but I've got the elastic straps for notes, so I can keep notes kind of tucked in. And I actually have the coin attachment as well, the coin tray. So I can actually still, in this form factor wallet, carry coins in my wallet if I wanted to. I honestly am incredibly happy with the product. I will never move back to a traditional wallet like this. It just saves a lot of room in my pocket, and that is never a bad thing in my opinion. And it's also a little bit unique. It's, you know, it's very nice. It is also worth mentioning, from the period of the 19th of May to June 9th, my code, which is linked down below, and my discount code and my link is actually getting boosted from my normal 10% discount. It's actually being boosted to 15% for Father's Day. So obviously, if you just want an extra discount, buy within those time periods. If you wanted to gift somebody something, now is the time to buy. Also, one final thing worth mentioning, Ridge have actually recently expanded into bag products. And as you can see, this is the Ridge waterproof backpack. They've got another backpack, they've got holdalls, etc. So if you're in the market for any of these products, please do check out the link down below. Remember to use the code. And if you do order within the period of the 19th of May to the 9th of June, you'll get that extra 5% off, totaling 15% off. But that is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for the support as always. And I'll be pleased to know if any of you do order one, please do let me know in the comments down below. But that's going to be it. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Now, welcome back to the main account. So today we're actually doing a episode of POV Climb to Master. So I will say I actually did do this as a live commentary, and this game became an absolute mental game. And I really think it's worth showing. And I will say, I did actually record this as a live commentary. What I will admit, and I actually watched this full game back. It's like a 40-minute game, and that's 1,000 games of Yorick, by the way. This game, I was pretty salty. You'll probably naturally see why, and I'll explain it throughout. But I just kind of feel that if I can avoid uploading a video that I'm very salty in, and I can do a POV commentary that will probably be a better video, then that's probably what I should do. So, yeah, it's a Diamond 1, Diamond 2 game. We're at 14 LP D1. I'm playing GANGPLANK mid. I just kind of felt like doing more GANGPLANK. I've said it this whole season. I need to play more GANGPLANK right now. He's one of my favorite champions. And he's in a pretty good, strong place right now, you could say. You know, the title of this video could be hinting at something about one-shotting people, or the most important one-shot. GANGPLANK is what I'm thinking as the title right now. You'll see that later, but obviously it's a 40-minute game. Now, one of the biggest kind of things that happened this game, or like one of the biggest things you'll see, was the Yorick. So the Yorick you just saw was 1,000+ games of Yorick versus someone that I think had one game of Kale. And the weird thing with this Yorick is the way that, you know, me and my Twitch chat have actually spoken about this game. So I played this game of me recording this. I played this game yesterday. In today's stream, me and my chat were actually talking about this game a little bit too. And this Yorick takes the split push mentality of, like, you know, the Scion strategy to the absolute extreme. Meanwhile, I don't really know what the enemy team was doing there, and that was a bit weird to me. So I will say, I think any second I actually do put the minimap cover on. The invade over there, then straight into another invade, kind of knowing where we are. I'm not saying that they are ghosting, but again, it's better to be safe than sorry. We're definitely in the rating bracket now that ghosting does happen a fair amount, unfortunately. You know, it's sad but true. If you watch most of your high rating streamers, you know, again, look at all this. Like, they're in the bush. The Graves was, I think, in our jungle. It's very weird play. So I just think, you know, putting that on, I don't think is a negative. But what I was saying is, if most of you watch other League content creators, which I presume a lot of you do, 9 out of 10 of them will be using map covers every single game. I don't use it every game because I don't want to use it every game. But if there's anything, now we're kind of, you know, we're in Diamond 1. If things are a little bit suspicious, then I do think it's worth putting the cover on. I know it's not as good as a viewing experience. I'm aware of that. And that's why I don't do it all the time like other streamers. But yeah. So Lee Sin's actually looking for a steal on that red, which is very risky because if you don't get it, and he does, by the way, thankfully, if you don't get it, you risk basically ruining your early game. Now, it is worth mentioning. What was I mentioning? Oh, sorry, the Yorick playstyle. His average KD, if you guys missed it, 1,000 games of Yorick, etc., he averages in 1,000 games 3 kills a game, 3 deaths a game, and that is it. So I actually hit a nice barrel there, and I decided to go on the Victor. The bad ignite, I remember saying at the time that was a bad ignite. If I didn't ignite then, that would have been a 1 trade and lane advantage potentially, and the ignite unfortunately just kind of ruined it for me, because having the ignite is always a threat of I still have ignite up, but using it and not getting a kill, you're actually throwing away lane power. This Victor, by the way, is running TP, and I kind of knew this early game was going to be a bit of a mess. You know, the fact that I blew flash early, it's a range versus melee matchup anyway. I knew it was going to be a bit rough, and you know, that's just something that you have to accept. It's like, fair enough, it's going to be a bit rough. My main goal of the early game was simply just not really die and farm as well as I can. Keep relative okay farm. And I will say the good thing about this game that hopefully will be noticeable eventually is this actually turned into, I think, my best farming game this whole season. You'll see, you know, why throughout, but yeah, I do actually believe this was my best farming game of season 12, which is good. You know, that's not a bad thing. It does feel nice to be back on GANGPLANK. I know right now you could argue he's a bit flavor of the month right now, and that's why so many people are playing him. But I played GANGPLANK before he was cool. But no, in all seriousness, I've been wanting to play GANGPLANK this whole season, and honestly, the biggest thing that's actually drawn me now to playing a bit of GANGPLANK is his new skin. Weirdly, that's the power of skins, is a new skin comes out that you think is really cool, it makes you kind of want to play the champion. And obviously this skin you can see in the game right now. I was looking at chat there, by the way, and that's one of the negatives of streaming, is the distraction of chat. But you can see the Ruined King sword in his base. This skin is actually from the Ruined King video game. Anyway, 2v2 top lane, having a bit of a brawl. Very aggressive, obviously, by the enemy team to go for this type of play. Lee Sin does end up getting 1 kill, and then he makes a mistake here. He can run away. He doesn't run away. I don't know why he doesn't, because the Yorick doesn't have flash. He can't just flash on top of the Lee Sin and Q. He's running Ghost Yorick, so it's not like he could have really got to that Lee Sin, unfortunately. And that will be, I believe, a live Yorick after that. So that was a bit frustrating. They did basically win the 2v2. You know, Lee Sin could have clearly survived that situation, but a little bit too greedy, unfortunately, does happen from time to time. So Victor's now roaming top lane. I did ping that, I think a bit earlier, and Kayle overstays. I don't blame her really for overstaying, if I'm completely honest. It's a big minion wave. It's a Kayle. She wants to have the farm. I don't. The roam from Victor, you could argue, is a bit weird, but not really. So it was just a roam for Victor. He nearly dies, but that's it. So he ends up getting a kill there. Now, what was weird was any second you're going to see, I think, yeah, Yorick comes mid lane. He's level 4. I think he only has about 16 farm. And unfortunately for me, he walks mid lane, and so does Graves. So I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Now, because I don't have flash, I've been slowed. And I'm trying to do what I can. You can see my damage not bad, but I just can't survive this now 2v1. And unfortunately, I'm dead. So really annoying. Didn't really see that coming, if I'm completely honest, you know. But I guess I should. I don't know. Like, some ganks you can predict when you're having Yorick run back to your lane, so you're a bit confused. Oh, Yorick's here, and then Graves is also there at the exact same time. I don't know. Maybe you could predict that, but I just didn't at the time. So again, a very Fiesta early game. Not good farm at the moment. You know, I've already said this game, hey, I'm farming well, and some people are probably going to go, are you? Like, what? What are you talking about? So I eventually start farming well. And one of the, I would say, the powers of GANGPLANK is you get to a point with your items that you can just start, like, basically one-hitting, and I actually mucked that up. You actually start basically one-hitting waves with your barrel combo, and obviously that makes farming quite easy. So we're not at that point yet. We nearly are. But yeah, so look at that. Not bad damage on Victor. if I had a bit more confidence, I might have like properly gone from there, but I wasn't quite sure if he had flash up. If he didn't, then I probably would have gone for it. Now, Kayle, from memory, again, she was a bit of a ragey player too. She's about to die. You can't see it on the minimap, but she was running down the river, dying in the 2v1. And then very soon you'll see her ping my ulti. And it's like, you basically were running in a straight line to mid lane there, as you can see there. She's running towards mid lane, where Victor would have just walked up and killed her anyway. So there was no... Using my ult would have been a complete and utter waste on not even saving her life. That's the thing, she wouldn't have survived. Nice barrel combo. We've got Lee Sin in the area. I go for Ignite, go for an ulti play. Lee Sin misses his Q, unfortunately, but he's very slow, this Victor. So we can loop around. Lee Sin going for it. He does end up flashing, and bang! I end up getting myself a nice big shutdown there. Very, very juicy. So very happy about that one. That was both... No, my flash not burnt. I held it. I could have flashed early if I wanted to. Didn't need to. Again, if you don't need a flash, don't. Lee Sin did, though. And I still think Lee Sin probably didn't need to flash there because I was coming from the bottom and there was nowhere Victor had to go. But, you know, it's overall good. I don't know if Lee Sin intentionally left me that kill. I doubt it, because, like, Lee Sins also want kills. But it was very good that he did leave it to me, because, you know, getting a gangplank kind of going with a shutdown is just a very smart thing to do. Again, gangplank is one of, probably, you know, one of the top hyper carries in the game right now. So, again, worth knowing, in the bottom right down there, I'm running Futures Market. Really strong on gangplank. Pretty strong if you're playing a champion that is quite item dependent, like Gangplank is. Quite like, oh, you know, even individual components give you a lot of strength, which Gangplank clearly, you know, Sheen, Crit Cloak, whatever. These little items really give him extra oomph in the early game. So, yeah, Futures Market's really good for that. Obviously, it does mean you're going to go in debt, technically. Like, right now, you can see we're in debt, and that does cost you. You know, that's gold that you know, there is an interest that it is charging, basically, that to go in that debt. I think it's 50 gold or something of that nature. So, you know, it does take sometimes longer to get to items because you're having to not just pay off the minus, you're also having to pay off the interest. But to get these little power spikes when normally you wouldn't be getting them is also very valuable. So it's kind of that give and take. You know, sometimes it's a really good thing, sometimes it's not, but overall it's not bad. So this Graves, I will say, he really liked mid lane, and I die, and so many people, including myself, were like, why didn't you press W? Why didn't you flash? I should have pressed W. I'll say that just right now. That was a mistake. But the Twitch chat and I both agreed. I didn't expect to die there. Like, genuinely, like, obviously this is pre-patch 12.10. The damage nerfs or resistance buffs haven't happened. I genuinely did not think in any way that I was dead. I didn't. I don't. Obviously that was wrong. But I just thought, okay, I'll be low. I'll get out of this, and then I'll have to go back, I guess. I had never. The thought didn't even cross my mind that I should have flashed that. So it just shows that still to this day, you know, before the resistance buff of damage, etc., I am still getting shocked occasionally with how much damage is in lead. So yeah, it's surprising. So you can see now we are actually at the stage of basically one-shotting minion waves. So this is where, as Gangplank, your power farming can begin. And also, not just the power farming, it actually gives you quite a lot of strength to roaming too, because you one-shot a minion wave that then gives you, you know, a lot of time to go roam. So Yorick was attempting to do Rift Herald by himself by the looks of it with his ghouls. We don't let that happen. I also get a bonus 100 gold there, so that's always nice. We don't let that happen. We bully him away from it. And again, not surprising this Yorick wanted Rift Herald. He probably goes for every single game. Considering, you know, the Yorick's basically playing PvE, not PvP. He probably wants Rift Herald to kill towers with Demolish and then eventually Hullbreaker. As I said, this Yorick is basically doing the split push Scion strategy on steroids. Because the Scion strategy, they still fight champions. This Yorick didn't care for champions at all. Again, that shows in his average, in 1,000 games, he averages 3 kills a game, 3 deaths a game. That is incredibly low. Like, that's less than a support sometimes gets. You know, that's so ridiculously low average. I do want to use my ult, obviously, aggressively. The place to use it, really, as always, is mainly bot lane. The reason why bot lane is very much the same reason if you have a Pantheon in your game or something of that nature. He'll want to ult bot lane more than anywhere else. Why? it's doubling the chances. It's doubling the people that are in the area for you to do something. For Gangplank, it's doubling the people that your ultimate is actually doing damage to. It's the higher value place to use it. You know, yeah, you can use it top if it's going to help, but on average, I'd say bot lane is better. So again, Yorick, in his PvE nature, he's clearing jungle camps instead of being top. I know people will be like, Huzz, you're being a bit harsh to it already. I don't want to be, but it was just a very frustrating playstyle to be against, because you'll see why I'm, you know, personally a little bit more frustrated with it. And by the way, it's a really good game of League, so make sure you stick around to the end, because this game becomes absolutely insane. Victor clearly was not watching where he was at the moment. He was watching top lane because they're doing a big fight. Bad ultimate by me. I went for an ulti to help, and I do it too late because I was distracted with the Victor and then the minions. So I wasted my ultimate completely there. But yeah, that Victor was clearly looking at top lane to see if he wanted to teleport. He might have, you know, I will say, if he actually teleported, it probably would have got him killed. But yeah, unfortunately, we just missed out on that kill there. It was worth mentioning as well, not saying it in an overly harsh way, but this Sona was a Sona 1 trick, and it took a long time to see her land an ulti. Like a long time. She was missing a lot of them, which again, the problem, what I will say, is sometimes you can get into a mental state of you miss the first one, and then, oh god, you know, okay, I missed the first one, you know, it's whatever. Oh god, I missed the second one. And then you're noticing that you're missing the ulti. When you notice that you're actually missing these big spells, you then can start missing them more, because then you're overthinking about hitting it. So the best thing to do, you know, as a bit of educational advice, the best thing to do if you're ever in a mind frame on, you know, you've missed 2 Blitzcrank hooks, or you've missed some Sonar ultis, or whatever it may be, the best thing to do is, if you can, stop thinking. Like, genuinely, stop thinking about it. Try the best to not think about that situation, and hope that just not thinking a bit of autopilot, you can just eventually land one, and then, yeah, you'll notice when you land one, you're, oh, dude, yes, I got it, finally. And then you can just kind of ignore what happened in the early game and, you know, all the ones you missed. That's sometimes what you have to do. So mid lane so far, we've hit 100 farm. Again, both me and Victor scale very, very well, worth mentioning. I'm just using oranges, obviously, to keep up my health bar here or there, because Victor, obviously, clearly, if I'm not landing barrels, which he's, you know, he's running away, he goes for a big ulti play, I'm just going to flash it because I don't want to die. He's got poke advantage on me if I'm not clearly landing barrels, and he's being quite good avoiding them. So yeah, it's the negative of Gangplank mid, like any really, is you're a melee champion, and that isn't always a negative when you're a threat, because, you know, the enemy team has to be scared of you. But in, you know, at this stage of the game, am I really a big threat to this Victor? The answer is not really. If he's just averagely smart and, you know, averagely playing well, he's probably okay against me. If he maintains his range against me, movement speed, walks away, he's probably fine. And the thing is, at this level of gameplay, he knows he's probably fine. So I'm gonna go, I think I go for an ulti any second. When the dive starts happening, I go for an ulti. But unfortunately, because the Yorick damage on tower, they just kill the tower instantly, so then my ultimate does basically nothing. So yeah, the Kayle is very much struggling this game. I can't remember as well, and I know I'm saying the word quite a bit this game, it just, you know, was the kind of the nature of the game. I believe the Kayle was a one trick of something. That wasn't obviously Kayle. She had one game of Kayle, that was it. But it was something very obscure. It was nothing to do with Kayle or anything. So anyway, Yorick is overextending, going for a tier 2 tower. Bit of a weird overextend, to be honest. And I think at this moment he does realize he's mucked up a bit. So his damage isn't bad, but we end up getting a nice little cheeky kill there. Also kill the maid, an extra 50 gold. Never, you know, don't be sad about an extra 50 gold. And yeah, we get a nice kill. That's going to help me gold-wise. And we're going to now... And, you know, this, I think, is from the point that becomes where I get a bit frustrated. And meanwhile, I need a drink. Give me a second. Good kill. For some reason, what kind of happened in this game, and you'll see it now for the next probably like 15 minutes, I became the answer to Yorick. So where normally, you know, in this game, the Yorick is a split pusher, Kayle will be staying with him. Graves mucks up, does go down in the end. Very nice by Zeri, etc. Yeah, normally the Kayle would be the one matching the Yorick, clearly. It's top laner versus top laner. Hyper carry Kayle can split push against him. Shouldn't be a problem. because she was so weak, she just stopped going against him. And then I was like, well, I guess I have to. And that's basically what happened, is I then was the answer to him. Now, he does a really... Victor does a very weird TP there. And obviously, you know, the negative of having the minimap cover clearly is you guys can't see the lanes. And again, I apologize for using it. I know we've had some questions in the past going, can you have it for your stream but not the YouTube video? No, that doesn't exist, unfortunately, because I'm recording... My stream is the exact same recording, and I don't even know how I mucked that up. My stream is the exact same recording. You know, they're the same thing. Bad ulti by me. I thought the Yorick was fully going to go all in, but again, because he's got no flash, I still don't know why he doesn't run flash, by the way. Ghost to me doesn't seem that good on Yorick, but anyway. Again, 1,000 games of Yorick, you'd think he you know, he's doing it for a reason, is the answer to that. So he goes down. Unfortunately, though, Kale also goes down at the same time. And I decided, screw it, I may as well just stay top, you know, farm a bit, get more gold. Look at that. That's so satisfying. And we get our first upgrade as well to our ulti, which is never a bad thing. The reason for staying also is we're never going to get back in time. And then lo and behold, Graves is top. I don't know why. Like, this Graves had a bit of an odd playstyle. Again, he was mid lane quite a lot, as you guys saw, but it was just a bit weird. Sona whiffs her ultimate again. So that was now, I believe, the third ultimate, at least that I've seen, that she's missed. I don't know if we had yet seen her hit one. I don't think we had. And yeah, so she's missed basically every single one. And that's what I was speaking about earlier, is you kind of get in that mind frame of just continuously missing them. Sometimes it does take a little bit of, you know, willpower to get out of doing that. Now, some people may question of like, Huzz, I've heard you say that you don't like the Prowler's build. Now, I don't really. But the reason why I did it is I've only tried it, I think, once or twice. And the reason why I've done it is because the game is changing. 12.10, this build will likely not exist. The resistance is going up, one-shot potential is going down. So give it a go. You know, that's kind of what I was like, you know, I may as well do it. This build might not exist in a couple weeks' time. So that was the idea. Also worth mentioning, I do rate this build higher for mid lane than top. I don't think you should do this build if you're top lane. And part of the reason for that is survivability. Is I'm, you know, basically now you could basically say I'm the top laner in this game because Kale has abandoned top or abandoned laning against Yorick. So now I'm laning against Yorick. The problem with this build is you are very squishy. Naturally. So a Immortal Shield Bow build, which is what I tend to do more often on Gangplank, gives you a lot more survivability against the likes of something like Yorick or Darius or Jace or whoever. Prowlers is very squishy, so it's very good. Prowlers is amazing against killing squishy targets. It's very bad against someone like Yorick. So that's where, again, my frustration was partially there, and he goes for this very weird attempted dive. I don't know what that was about. Honestly, if I had a bit more confidence, I could have killed him. He's dead by the Sona, but I could have just straight up killed him if I Prowlers'd on him to get then the increased damage. But I was just honestly very confused of what the hell he just did. He just ran into the tier 2 tower, which was bizarre. So he's dead. Excuse my throat. Victor also went into our territory, and he ended up dead too. So, oh god, I've like swallowed air or something. Ugh. The negative of doing 2 POV commentaries back to back is your throat really suffers because you're talking a lot. Anyway, yeah, but the Victor and the Yorick both were kind of doing a split push gameplay style, which is a bit odd that both of them are doing it. It's you know, usually you have one person split pushing and one person, you know, then 4 grouping is kind of the norm, but the Victor was spot lane and the Yorick was top. And again, just to clarify, because we spoke about this game earlier on my stream, I don't absolutely hate split pushing. I don't. I do think it's a smart thing to do when the game, it makes sense. Unfortunately, the Lee Sin Q mucked up his own kick there. If he just walked close to Caitlyn, he probably would have got the kick. But yeah, I do think it's a good thing to do when it's a smart thing to do. It's just, unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's become the absolute default with nothing else. You know, if your default playstyle is split pushing, that's what I don't like. I think split pushing is a tactical thing that you should do if the game needs it. In my opinion. Again, people can have a different opinion, that's completely fine. But what I didn't like, especially about this Yorick, is it wasn't the fact that he was just split pushing, and that's basically what he was doing. It was the fact that he wasn't really trying to PvP, if that makes sense. He was doing it a bit. I'm not saying he was doing none of it, but he wasn't. He was literally just split pushing for just the towers. Where, like, if in my mind, again, maybe I'm wrong, but a Fiora that's split pushing, a Fiora isn't just there for towers. She's there to fight the enemy champion in the 1v1. That's the idea. Now, one thing I was unfortunately hoping here, I was actually hoping that the Yorick was near the Kayle. I was like, all right, Kayle, start fighting the Yorick. Then I can show up and finish off the Yorick together. But she just didn't. She just didn't quite get that memo, or it just didn't quite click. Because I do think that could have been a potential kill on Yorick if we worked well together there. But, you know, unfortunately was not to be. And now Kayle walks over here, and I'm still in that mind frame. I'm like, dude, someone has to stop this Yorick. If it happened, I want to say that we had another game against Yorick this season, and the exact same thing happened. My team wanted to basically ignore him, and I was the one that had to go stop his split push. Genuinely, with how strong Yorick split push is, yes, this is after the Hull Breaker nerf, but he's got it. It's still a strong item. He will just end the game, like, just straight up. If you let him, and he might not end the game in one push, but if you just freely let him do whatever he wants, he will. Oh, our inhibitor's dead now. Okay. Well, then the next push. Oh, one of our Nexus turrets is dead. Okay. The next push. Oh, our other Nexus turret is dead. Okay. And then one or two more times after that, oh, the game's over. He's ended the game in backdoor split push. You can't just let him do that. You have to answer it. And again, normally you'd want the Kayle to do it. And maybe, you know, as a thing, and unfortunately this Kayle did have a habit. She's died with ulti up. She had a habit of dying with ulti up this whole game. As we said, she's not a Kayle player. But, you know, landing your ulti or doing your ulti to me isn't a big thing. So we're going to go for the Yorick here. Go for the Prowlers for the increased damage. Unfortunately, don't quite land any of the big damage. Was expecting, you can't see on the minimap, our team is nearby, but they just don't move over. Was a little bit weird, it has to be said. I think Zeri might be coming now, but it's too late. So yeah, he just walks away. So that was a bit, yeah, you can see Zeri in our jungle. So I think she could have got there, but I think she just reacted a little bit too slow. Victor's also very dead, or nearly dead, and unfortunately, from memory, he doesn't die. It's these little creep of mistakes that are coming in of like not letting people die that should be dead is where, like, it's not like a terrible thing, but it's where morale more than anything else can slip. Of, oh, you know, we didn't kill Yorick. Oh, then we also didn't kill Victor. Oh my god. That's what can happen if you're just missing these opportunities out, is what I would say. So Yorick, even though he nearly died, he burnt Ghost. Yes, what did he do? He didn't base. He just returned split pushing bot lane. And he's dead now, but he did get the tier 2 because that's his whole mentality. This Yorick does not care about his KD. He is like, oh, I got the tower. To him, that's a success. So I know some people watching this video will probably be like, I don't mind that playstyle. That's completely fine. Again, that's what I sometimes think people don't get. If you like that playstyle, all power to you, go for it. But I'm also allowed to not like that playstyle. That's the thing. I just don't like it. Like, to me, it feels a bit weird to care a lot more about PvE, player versus environment, in a PvP game, player versus player. To me, I just don't quite get that. Like, I just don't. So I'm going up to top lane, because if we don't push these lanes out, by the way, we're in trouble of Yorick being closer to the time that he can get a tower really fast. So you've got to push the lanes out. Our team is, I believe, at Dragon. I ult the Baron, and then lo and behold, Victor shows up. He does a really late ulti, so that's, we've traded ult for ult technically. We get the Dragon, which is good, but I don't know where the enemy team is. Like, I did not expect Victor there, I'll tell you that right now. So that surprised me a bit. So I obviously burned Flash to escape that, or like not die. But honestly, not the end of the world. I am expecting, by the way, Victor in that top bush. To me, it makes sense. And there he is. So he actually shows. I was expecting him to be there, and now he's overstaying. Yeah, to me, I don't know why he's still top lane. It's very much a mistake. And there you go. Sona has landed what I think is our first ulti that we've seen of her. Prowlers, wait for the barrel, and we don't get the kill. Kayle does, but that's still not bad. She's a hyper carry, so that is a good kill. Bad death from Victor. A bit of greed, obviously, coming in there. Of, like, you know, he went for his burst on me, didn't quite land it. He got my flash. Sometimes just take the flash. Oh, dude, you got my flash. Well done. And he stuck around to try and get the kill. So, yes, lo and behold, Yorick is still bot lane split pushing. My team has gone over to the Baron. again, I'd love to be there to do the Baron. I'd love to help them, but I can't, because if I don't answer this Yorick, he will at least get our inhibitor, at least. So I have to do this, and trust me, it was killing me that I had to be the one to do this, because I want Kayle to be the one to do this, but it just didn't look like she was interested. She wasn't going to do it. So, you know, if your teammates aren't going to do it yourself. So I did. So the good thing I will say of me actually doing this type of play, my team are doing well, as you can see, that's good, is I'm getting a lot of farm. We're at 226 farm at 27 minutes. That is probably definitely the best farm we've done already this season. My team is going back over to the Baron. Yorick is still clearly bot lane. And I think now we'll be building for Infinity Edge. We get our second upgrade to our ulti, so that's all well and good. The Baron is quite slow. I was very tempted to ult that Baron, but the reason why I think I don't end up doing it is just in case Yorick didn't base, my ultimate is actually very good of when he is committing to a tower. Like, you will see occasionally that Yorick will just suddenly go, I'm going all in, I'm going for the big tower dive of like trying to get tower damage or whatever. I'm using my ulti to try and help any way I can at the moment. So my ultimate is very good in that scenario. Unfortunately, by the way, Kayle died with ultimate again. You know, again, you can see when she dies with ulti there. And yeah, she just wasn't using it. It was very weird. She used it occasionally. It's just, in some deaths, I think she just got near enough one shot, or she just didn't expect the damage that happened. And that's kind of what surprised and ultimately killed her a lot without using ult. So the game, as you can already tell, is a bit of a crazy one. We're approaching the half-an-hour mark. As I've said multiple times this game, I believe, it's a 40-minute game. So we're still 10 minutes plus to go. Again, quite a long game for Modern League. And I will say one of the worries that I've seen some people have about the change upcoming to League, let me know what you guys think about it. Some people are worried that the game length is going to go up. And it might, you know, again, with damage being less, etc., it might definitely go up, the average game time. Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? That is obviously subject to your own situation. I had a viewer, I think, was it today or yesterday? They basically said they're worried because they can't play much League. So they're a student, they can't play much League, and if the average game time goes up 10 minutes, let's just say, as a random, well, right now, that means, you know, they could play 4 games, maybe a night. But if the average game time goes up 10 minutes, they only can play 3 games a night. You know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it does make a difference after a while. So the enemy team, my team is pushing with Baron. You'll again notice that, Huz, you're not there. Again, you can probably guess why I'm not there. Because again, I have to answer. The Yorick is TPing bot lane. Like, again, he doesn't care about PvP. He is there just to PvE. I just was answering it. That's the thing. The Yorick probably wins a lot of his games, I would imagine, in this playstyle because he has enemies that let him do this. That is how I would probably guess. So, you know, he's walking past me. He is not fighting me. He is just ignoring that I basically exist. I clear the minion so he can't continue to do it, and now he's running out of the base. So, frustrating. So, what you will see also with this game, just as a little bit of a hint that, you know, is a very satisfying hint, there comes a time this game that I do group with my team. You will wait for this time, and it is a glorious time. Because right now, nice kill by Kayle. She gets 1 kill, but then she's very much overextended. She uses her ultimate finally. But yeah, she is going to go down. Victor does use ulti though, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. It's not the end of the world. I get my Infinity Edge, really big power spike there. And obviously now we have 1 item to go until we have full item complete. Now I will also admit a pretty big error that I do this game that actually did take me a long time to realize. I thought I don't know why, I just didn't really realize I had 1 more item to go to complete my build. So yeah, I leave my corrupting potion there for way longer than I should. Meanwhile, Zeri gets another kill. But yeah, basically I just kind of, I don't know, I derp out and I needed 1, I think I go for like Lord Dominic's, which definitely would help me against Yorick. By the way, we get another dragon, well done team. But yeah, definitely would help me against Yorick. It's a good tank killing thing. And I don't know why, I just completely derp out and kind of forget to change the corrupting potion for ages. You'll see it, you know, at least 5 minutes, at least. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm buying elixirs. So you can see, mentally, I think I'm full build. You don't buy elixirs unless you're going to go for a really big push and look to end the game, or you're full build. And I don't think we're doing either. I just think, I don't know why, my mentor is like, oh, I'm full build. I'm not. It is also worth mentioning how low kill game this was, by the way. It is what, like, weirdly, this game felt like a Diamond 1 game. Even though you had the weird Yorick strategy, whatever, and I had to stop him split pushing. You know, if you guys think about it, if I didn't stop this Yorick split pushing this game, 100% we would have no inhibitor. Like, maybe we would have lost 2 inhibitors by now. But I've been the one that's like, nope, I'm going to stop you as well as I can. Even though my build against Yorick is not very good. Again, Prowlers against Yorick, not to the best. We are, by the way, already level 18. We were first in the game to hit level 18. And I think fairly soon is when I actually decide, nah, screw it, I need a group. You know, again, it's a bit boring that what we're doing, but it's very necessary. You know, trust me, if Kale came over and she was down here and I was like, oh, I can go group, I would be very happy. But it just didn't happen. It never happened that she was like, oh, I'll walk over here and I can kind of take Gangplank's place. I go for an ulti. Unfortunately for me, what that kind of means is I don't have ulti to then stop the Yorick. So what I'm doing here is I'm dragging the minions as much as I can out of tower. I also get a kill, by the way, with Victor. I don't even know how I got that. So, you know, without you having my ulti to stop the Yorick, then it opens him up to kill the tower finally. You know, he's been trying for a very long time. He's finally got it because I didn't have ulti to stop him this time. So again, very frustrating, but it is what it is. Again, worth mentioning, a lot of people forget how strong Maiden is. And again, how do I stop this Yorick? Like, it's really annoying. And like, look, this is his first push that he's been allowed to kind of do more. And look what he's got. In one push, he's got a tower, an inhib, and a Nexus tower. So for some people that are like, oh, Huz, you know, maybe, you know, just let him get on with it. He would have ended the game. By now, he literally would have ended the game. And you can see a little bit of frustration by me that I'm like, dude, you should be the one that's dealing with this Yorick, not me. But alas, he overstays again, which this Yorick had a history, or I guess, or whatever. He kept overstaying. Every single time he went for a big push, he would then overstay. Every time. So now, what I will say is, I was frustrated by this point of like, dude, my build is not suited to do well against this Yorick. I'm gone Prowlers. I'm grouping. I basically just mentally was like, I am now grouping, screw it, you know, the Yorick might end the game, but I've been dealing with him this whole game, I am now grouping. So that is like where you can see the mentality shift of, screw it, I'm mid. Like, I'm with my team, I'm gonna look for big barrels, I'm now grouping. I'm not split pushing, or like, I'm not even split pushing, I'm not stopping the Yorick. Kale, you can do that. So anyway, we're now mid. Farm-wise, by the way, over 300 farm at 34 minutes, so pretty good. As I said, pretty good farming game. But again, it was a really good farming game, mainly because I had to just stop the Yorick the whole time. So yeah. Walking into the enemy jungle, you know, as I said, we are really among, you know, the enemy team now. Kale is here, though. You might be like, oh, where's Yorick? You can probably guess where Yorick is. If he's not bot lane, there's only really one other place he's going to be. I'll give you one guess. And it's not bot lane. So Baron is up right now. So, you know, that's always in the cards. Our team is very strong. You know, again, it's worth knowing our scaling is really good. Zeri, Gangplank, Kale, Sona, all very good scaling. Yorick was top lane, by the way, if you didn't get it. He's now here. Nearly one shot there. Unfortunately, we don't. Kale, by the way, if you did look at the bottom right, yes, she did die with ultimate up again. Enemy team does go quite all in for me. I do get my ultimate down well, though. So you can see they're walking. Look how much damage my ultimate's doing. Fantastic. So Lee Sin gets a good kick, kills the Caitlyn. Sona now trying to do what she can. Zeri did go down, unfortunately. And I do think Lee Sin is just going to escape, I think. And yeah, he does escape. He does get his GA done. Maybe he doesn't escape in the end, actually. So we might actually get aced. Will he escape? He might. I think so. Yes? Yes. So we keep one Baron. Unfortunately, I did get, you know, killed a lot, and that is the negative of the one-shot build of Gangplank, is you're also very squishy. And by the way, did I notice it here? You can see I've got nearly 4,000 gold. I think my Twitch chat was screaming at me, maybe about now, to be like, Huz, what are you doing? Buy an item. Was it now? Was it not yet? Yes, it's now. No, it wasn't. It wasn't even now. Oh my God. I've also got an upgrade. Like, I thought, I will say, I did kind of think the game might have been over. Like, oh, Yorick's alive. They'll just split push and end the game. Look, our base towers are dead, but the game is not over. I still don't know. I get my final upgrade. I still don't change my item. What am I doing? Like, again, I don't know. Again, that's just complete what you'd call potential brain fog, I guess. I have enough gold right now to fully outright buy it, and I think I finally noticed it here. I think I finally noticed there. I'm like, oh, what the hell? I sell corrupting. I get it. I'm so much stronger right now. I'm not even kidding. I am so much stronger. That, I would admit, was a dumb mistake. Unfortunately for me, Victor, I don't even know how. He was like psychic, I guess. He just moves out the way at the perfect time to avoid the big one, the middle cannon. If my middle cannon plumb hit him in there, Collector would have killed him. So that was a little bit annoying. So one thing I do decide, we get the dragon, by the way, I believe. Or did we? I think we did. So we've got Elder Dragon now, I think. I go over here and buy Red Trinket. The reason why I'm doing this is I'm doing a circle of Red Trinket just to see, does Yorick have a ward in our base? The type of player, it would not surprise me if he does. He just seems the type of player that would put a ward down, teleport in, just go straight for the Nexus. That's what his playstyle, you know, is. So I wouldn't be surprised, but alas, I don't think he did. So we are pushing now. We've got Baron. I think, no, we've got Baron on Lee Sin. We've got Elder Dragon. We need to push. We need to use this advantage. What my team is hesitant about is Yorick might just backdoor. And that is true. Like, he might. But I think at this part of the game, we're all very, very strong. We need to just go for it. It's that simple. We need to take the fight. We need to push forward. Otherwise, like, we might just die. We might just, the game might just be over. Yorick could just go for one of these big split pushes at the right time, and the game might just end. Like, if the enemy team actually gets into our base as 5 with Yorick split pushing and his tower damage, genuinely, he might just be able to end the game before we can kill it. So here we go, everybody. We are now grouping. I promised you I would group with my team. So in reality, this is the first time this game I have pretty much grouped with my team. Just to put that in perspective, pretty much the first time this game I have grouped properly with my team. Crazy, I know. We are backing off, though, because, you know, just going to be a bit careful. Don't, you know, go for a bad play. I've got to also be very careful as Gangplank. I'm very squishy with this build. So we're just kind of walking in and out, making sure we're fine, you know, taking our time, even though we probably need to hurry it up a little bit. But yeah. So we are now officially full build, it's worth mentioning, so that's great. I'm still farming, which I don't need to. I'm literally absolute full build. My elixir's about to run off, but I've still got more gold than I need to buy another one. Yorick's now bot lane. And I think we're looking for an angle top lane. And I was like, oh, maybe I could get a cheeky barrel around this area. We break open their base in top. We get the inhibitor too, or that might have been already open. So now we're actually in the enemy base. Can't really do much more than that. So I think we're going to circle around. Kayle, for some reason, isn't with us. And I think we're going to circle over to mid lane. That bind could have literally ended the game if Zeri got caught by that. It was actually... It wasn't close, but it was a bit like, huh. So now we're in mid. And see what we can do. I do ulti. The reason why I ulti, by the way, you might be thinking that was a mistake. It was in the end, but it was basically that we needed something to happen. And ladies and gentlemen, bam, 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 there it is. We finally got it. So that was a genuine one-shot barrel, triple barrel combo on Caitlyn. That is now there. Pretty strong. AD carry, gone. That opens up the enemy team, because that means her traps, you can see on the floor now, they are slowly going to disappear and she can't put them back up. She is dead for a good 40 seconds, and now is the time for my team to go in. So trust me, I was over the moon about that triple barrel. Lee Sin gets a really good play there. I go for a barrel, get the Victor also, so dead, get the Graves, dead. So in that one big play, I have killed all 3 of the enemy's carries. So that was, as I said, the first time that I grouped with my team. We do really good. And this was my frustration, and I said it to my Twitch chat after the game. The reason why this was such a frustrating game for me is because I was against a Yorick that I was not building against. I was against a Yorick that I wasn't building against. You know, he's tanky, etc. He doesn't even really also care about me. He just wants to get, you know, the minions and the towers, etc. Sona goes for the play. I'm Prowlersing. I think Prowlers, and I just survived the tower there, so that's really nice. And the Kayle should be the one to stop him, not me. And I also knew the frustration of, if you put me in a grouping situation, I can annihilate the enemy team. So when you know that, and you're like, please, like, let me group, it was very frustrating. But also, what I would say is incredibly satisfying. That was a very satisfying win. Very obviously happy to hit the triple barrel combo on the Caitlyn. That was like the trigger to make us go. So I was very happy about that. Let me know what you guys think. Obviously, it's worth mentioning this type of build, this type of play probably won't exist in a couple of weeks. You know, that whole massive one-shot on Caitlyn, I'll say, hopefully it doesn't exist. I don't want it to exist. I don't think it's healthy that it exists. But it exists right now. So anyway, we get some challenges complete. We gain 16 LP, Diamond 1. Enemy team, you can see in the right bottom left, are like saying everyone's toxic or rage quitting. Again, they didn't rage quit. I don't think they were all there at the end of the game in the last team fight. So that wasn't a rage quit, I guess. But yeah, Diamond 1, 16 LP, and we went 8-3-5. And worth mentioning, I was hardly grouped this game. I only really grouped once, and I did the most damage on my team by over 10,000. Over 10,000 damage more. If I grouped, if Kale was the one that dealt with the Yorick, the damage would have been nuts. Now, the question is, if the Kale was the one that dealt with the Yorick, do you think she would have coped? Because maybe she would have just died to the Yorick, and then Yorick would have gotten a hit 10 minutes earlier. Maybe Yorick would have finished the game. I don't know. So overall, hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, smash the like button. If you liked, you know, the general Gangplank play, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal